What's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Alatorre. Join the family, hit that subscribe button. All are welcome here on my channel as long as you promise to always keep it positive. That's all I ask of you. For today's video, I'm going to be continuing the pro makeup tips series because from the looks of it, you guys are really loving these videos, and if you love it. I love creating it and bringing you some more of this content. So today's focus is going to be on setting sprays versus facial mists, because what I have noticed is that in my own tutorials as well as other ones that I have seen on YouTube is that we tend to bounce around between facial mists and setting sprays, making it confusing for those of you out there who maybe are looking to incorporate a mist into your routine but don't know exactly what it's for or which one to get or how you could use both throughout a makeup tutorial or throughout a makeup application. So I'm gonna do my makeup like I normally would, but I'm really gonna emphasize on which spray I'm using for what reason. And I just want to let you guys know that I love sharing my tips and tricks and my techniques that I have picked up throughout the years, because no matter how good of an artist you are, it's always great to expand your knowledge, continue educating yourself and learning new techniques, because there's always room for improvement. Don't ever think that you are too good to learn something new, because it's always good to continue learning and expanding your knowledge. So with that said, I'm going to show you guys the two sprays that I'm going to be using throughout today's video. And if you guys haven't noticed, I have been partnering with Dermalogica on some content, and they asked for an upcoming video what Dermalogica product I would want to feature, and it was a no-brainer for me. I was like, the Antioxidant Hydramist, because I love facial mists. They come in handy when your skin is dry, when you look dull, when you're wearing makeup and it looks, I was gonna say crappy, cakey and dry. If your skin feels tight, it's just like an instant pick-me-up, and it's a really nice and easy add-on to an already existing skincare routine. You don't have to change your routine for a mist. So this is a antioxidant shield that helps fight free radical damage and prevent signs of aging caused by AGEs, which are advanced glycation end products, a damaging byproduct of sugar/protein reactions on the skin. Damn, I'm about to like douse myself in this. I don't want any of that on my skin. And it says it contains pea extract to firm and lift and tighten, rose and clove extract to comfort and refresh skin. And then what I love also is that under directions it says is an ideal refreshing spritz over makeup throughout the day, which is exactly what I want to hear. Yes to all of the above. So this is going to be the skincare facial mist. And then for the actual setting spray, I'm going to use the Holy Grail Urban Decay All-Nighter Spray. This guy prolongs your makeup for up to 16-hour wear. It's lightweight and it has temperature control technology. What? How did I not know that about my own setting spray? I have to look this up on Sephora.com real quick. Features patented temperature control technology. It actually lowers the temperature of your makeup to keep foundation, eyeshadow, blush, and concealer in place, even in hot and humid or cold and windy conditions. Wow, how did I not know that? That is crazy. That's why everyone loves this stuff so much. So this is gonna be the actual setting spray, the makeup setting spray that I'm gonna use throughout my makeup application. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this makeup like I normally would, but again, emphasize what spray I'm using, for what reason. If you're interested, let's jump right into it. I'm going to kick things off by using the Antioxidant Hydramist to prep my skin. So I've already added eye cream and moisturizer. It's been a minute, and this is a great way to revive the skin, have it feeling fresh, dewy, and moist, ready for foundation. You never want to apply foundation over top of really dry skin. You want that nice bit of slip, so that way the foundation goes on very natural and skin-like. This also contains glycerin, which is going to give the skin that nice glossy sort of texture, that nice natural glow, which is great for a little bit of skin prep. And I normally don't use primer. If you were going to use a primer, I would use this, prime, and then foundation. I like to just properly prep my skin and then go in directly with foundation. So I'm going to go ahead and mist myself, give it a little shake first. And I always do vertical and then horizontal to make sure I'm hitting all of the different points and crevices of the face. For my foundation, I'm going to be using the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation in shade 460. 460. Why did I just say that weird? I love this foundation. It just works so well with my skin, and the color match is perfect. So I'm applying it with my fingers first, The foundation's gonna glide on really nice and easily over top of that perfectly prepped skin. And once I've gotten it on there, I'm gonna take the beauty blender, or this is not a beauty blender, this is the Ofra Perfecting Puff, and blend it out. And I'm gonna do that all across the entire face. Does anyone else do that? Call all their sponges beauty blenders, even if they're not beauty blenders? I feel bad. I'm also gonna go ahead and conceal and set with powder. For concealer, I'm using the e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer in the shade Light Beige. And then for powder, I'm gonna be using this one from Hourglass. And because I am going very matte, a facial mist is also gonna be key in today's look. So I'm gonna go ahead and do those 2 steps and then come back to show you how I would rehydrate the skin. I think powder is essential to making your makeup last and then making everything on the face look blended, as long as you have a hydrating mist to tone down the look of the powder. Now that I've set with powder, I'm gonna go back in with the Hydra Mist to tone down the look of powder and have it look more skin-like. So I actually learned this from my friend Karen, who is an incredible makeup artist. She likes to mist the skin after each powder application, and I learned from her that it looks incredible when you do this. So I'm gonna give myself a very, very light mist, not going too heavy. We're gonna save that for the very end. So just like that. We're gonna give it a chance. I inhaled the mist. Don't inhale your mist. Wait till it subsides and then go ahead and breathe. I love the look of highlighter after freshly misted skin. That trick I learned from Mac Daddy Angel. He always gives the skin a light mist and then hits the skin with a highlight, and it pops so much more than a dry powder highlight over powdered skin. So where's my highlight? ¿Dónde está? I'm gonna use Hot Damn. Speaking of Angel, I'm gonna use his product right here, the Diamond Luxe Luminizer in Hot Damn, and you'll see it just pops a little more. And I often get that question from people. They say their highlight doesn't pop, it doesn't look glossy, it barely shows up on the skin, but if you're adding it after freshly powdered skin, that's what's gonna happen. It's not gonna pop as much, but you'll see with this. And you can see the skin has like a little bit of a dew to it. It doesn't look overly matte. And the highlight just pops way more. Look at that. Boom. So I'm gonna go ahead and highlight the high points of the face. I always like to highlight first too because it looks a little more natural once you add your bronzer and blush. You don't see streaks of highlighter. And I always like to take my powder brush and lightly blend across the face so it looks really soft. And then again, a very light mist of the Hydra Mist. Smells so good, but don't eat it. Don't breathe it in. Now I'm just gonna go in with bronzer and blush, and then I'll probably hold off on misting myself again until after eyeshadow, right before I add mascara. So really quickly, I'm just gonna go ahead and bronze with the Giorgio Armani Neo Nude Powder, Foundation Powder in shade 6.5 with the other end of that Hourglass brush. And this is a foundation powder, so it'll add a little more coverage and it'll further lock in the makeup underneath. I feel like a pro makeup tips video on just foundation powder would do really, really well. Is that something that you guys would be interested in? Holla at me down below in the comment section. But do you see how the skin just has like this natural sort of sheen to it? It doesn't look powdered down. I feel like they end up using a powder and then just heading out the door, they don't mist themselves, and then they're like, oh, my skin looks so dry and chalky and powdery. And so they're kind of traumatized by powder, but use a mist and your makeup will last all day. It'll look like skin and you won't feel dry. And you can keep adding the mist throughout the day, which is great. And I'm actually gonna add blush as well because I feel like once I add eyeshadow, that's when I switch over to a setting spray, because if I add a ton of facial mist that's not a setting spray to the eyes, it sort of creates creasing because there's so much moisture there. So let's go in with blush. I'm gonna be using a classic NARS Orgasm. I'm gonna do a really simple eye look too because again, the focus is more so on techniques with facial mist and setting sprays. So I don't wanna take too long on the makeup, but I am gonna create a really pretty bronzy look. And Orgasm just goes with everything. She's loyal. And then we're gonna hit the face one more time with the Antioxidant Hydramist. I also really like the way it dispersed the mist. It's like a very nice, fine, even mist. Sometimes if your facial mist especially has a clogged nozzle or it's not a really fine mist, it'll actually leave like globs of the mist on the face that can ruin your foundation because it's not a setting spray. So I love that this mist is really, really fine. It won't affect the look of your makeup whatsoever. You can count on it. She is also loyal. Wasn't planning on zooming you guys on in for the eyes because I was going to do something really quick, but I threw on my macro lens and you just have to admire this skin right now. Tell me this does not look the most skin-like you have ever seen with concealer, foundation, powder, blush, bronzer, highlight. I mean, oh, you can even see my mustache. I should have shaved before doing this video. I'm going to be using the NATASHA DENONA Gold Palette to create a really nice soft bronzy eye. I'm going to pick up this color down here and then apply it to the crease and lower lash line. And with my fingertip, I'm going to take this shadow and apply it to the lid. One tip that does pertain to eyeshadow when it comes to mist is that you can use them to wet your brush to further intensify the eyeshadow. And you can use either the setting spray or the facial mist for this step. Obviously, the setting spray might prolong the eyeshadow a little more than just the facial mist. But regardless, I'm going to finish my look by misting myself with a setting spray. So it's really up to you which spray you want to use. I'm going to go ahead and switch it up and now go into the setting spray. So I'm going to pick up that same shimmery shadow onto a brush and mist it. So I always pick the shadow up first, then mist, because if you dip a wet brush into your eyeshadow, it might ruin it, or it'll get that like really hard texture on top of it. So I like to pick up the shadow first, and then I'm going to take the Urban Decay setting spray. But again, you can use whichever one you want. Give it a mist, and then reapply a fresh coat to further intensify that metallic shimmer. Actually, I'm going to use one more shadow just because I'm already here. I'm going to take the darkest brown right here and just run it along the upper lash line to make the base of the lashes look fuller. I'm going to go in with this one right here that's a little bit darker and just apply it to that outer V just to add some dimension to the eyes. I went in with a deep espresso liner. This is Loyal by Dose of Colors in the waterline. And for mascara, I used Better Than Sex by Too Faced. And here is the final look. I forgot how good NATASHA DENONA eyeshadows are. I mean, they are really pricey, but like, look at this. Damn. Oh, what's that? No. Actually, all that's left is the lip, and then I'm gonna set everything with the all-nighter setting spray. So for a lip, I'm gonna go with my basic go-to, the Fenty Gloss Bomb. It's just the absolute best. If you guys haven't tried it, I highly 10 out of 10 recommend it. And I'm gonna outline my lips with Dime Lip Liner by Dose of Colors. Actually, I don't want to use Dime. I feel like Dime might be a little taupey. We're going to switch over to Escape by Dose of Colors instead. It's a little more pink. For the final step, we are going to set everything with a makeup setting spray, the Urban Decay All-Nighter Setting Spray. Give it a little shake. Same thing, vertical, and then horizontal. I usually will save mascara to the very end, but sometimes when I'm doing the up-close shot, I just do the mascara and then I forget. But we're going to let this dry down a bit, and then we're going to repowder the areas that are shiny. In the meantime, I just want to share some additional tips where a facial mist and a setting spray would come in handy. I always pack them with me when I know I'm going to be touching up my makeup, because when you add fresh powder to the face to touch up your makeup, the fresh powder isn't going to look cohesive with the rest of your makeup that's been worn in all day long. So I always rely on a facial mist to tone the look of the powder down and have it look like the rest of your worn in makeup. So I'll always travel with a facial mist, and then I carry around the little travel size all-nighter spray. Let me grab it real quick. I always take this little travel size all-nighter spray to, at the very end, again, spray myself so that I can continue prolonging the wear of my makeup. So let me just show you what fresh powder would look like on the skin. So I'm going to repowder just the center of the face where I'm a little shiny. I'm using a Sephora Pro Featherweight Blending brush number 93. It's really nice and like light and fluffy and wispy, so you can just powder down any areas that are a little too shiny. Let's just say you did want to add a foundation powder. because that is what I use to touch up my face throughout the day. Let's use the Bare Minerals Bare Pro Warm Light. Warm Light is the shade. Powder in the shade Warm Light, just to show you what it would look like. So I'm going to pick it up on a brush, and normally what I use foundation powder to touch up is sunglass marks, or even if I touched my face and my foundation starts to separate, that is what I use, or that's why I always carry around a foundation powder with me. But let's add some of this powder right here. See, that's a little too light, but see how it looks powdery in comparison to the rest of the face? We're just gonna mist it down with the Hydramist. And it'll tone down the look of powder and have it looking like the rest of your makeup, and then no one will ever be able to tell that you touched up your makeup. It'll look like it did when you first applied it in the morning. And then again, setting spray if you want to prolong the wear of your makeup afterwards. But I would say that the facial mist is more important to carry around throughout the day because you get some skincare benefits from it. Whereas with a setting spray, you don't need to be spraying it all day long. It's kind of like a one and done, I'm done with my makeup, let's lock it in. Whereas a facial mist is gonna revive the skin, give it some nutrients, it's got some benefits to it, and it just has you overall glowing and looking healthy, dewy, and fresh. And that concludes today's pro makeup tips video. I hope you guys learned something new. Please comment down below any future requests for this series. And also, if you are loving the series, definitely check out the playlist so you can watch them all in a row. And don't forget to give these videos a like if you do enjoy them, because like I said, I noticed that you guys have been really watching these, really engaged with these videos, and that you are loving them, which is why I have continued to do this series. So as always, with that said, if you enjoyed it, give it a like. This thumb wanted to come up too. Give it a like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys. Mwah.